All right, how's it going, guys? So today you guys are going to be learning about human body systems. This is a kind of an extension of the class that you guys are going into with levels of organization. So as we go through this, there are going to be some points they'll be covering from your main ideas before. So what are organ systems? How do those organ systems work together? Or sorry, how do organs work together to accomplish a task? And then what happens if an organ or a system stops functioning within that group? All of those should be covered in this small lesson. So if by the end of it you can't answer those three, then go back and watch again. Okay? Or just ask a question. Either one works out. So, firstly, human body systems. What are they? Human body systems, as we talked about before, are one of the levels of organization. So, every living organism is an organized structure that starts off as a group of atoms that then turn into the first level that is alive, which is cells. So all living things are made of cells. And then those cells come together to form tissues, and then those tissues come together to form organs, and then those organs come together to form organ systems. And finally, you get the organism. So all of this actually happens in a way that basically forms layers of structure in order to create the actual organism. And at each point, these individual layers have to actually operate and work together in order to create the next thing. Okay, so they don't work independent of each other. They all are working at the same time in order to keep the whole alive. Okay, so if one part of the system starts to go down, it starts to affect other parts of the system, thus creating issues for the entire organism. So most of the time, if a system fails or an organ fails, the organism will most likely die as well, since they all kind of rely on each other to carry out their tasks. Okay, but in general, when we're talking about the same system, it's because the organs all the organs in that system probably do something similar, or at least build towards that larger function. And then tissues, same way. You have a bunch of different types of tissue, but all the tissues within a certain organ or organ system will be sort of the same or have a similar purpose. Okay. So today we're going to be looking very briefly at these six organ systems: the respiratory, the digestive, circulatory, excretory, muscular, and nervous. These are not the only organ systems. These are only the ones that you'll have to remember for the eighth grade. Throughout this, there'll be, well, throughout your educational process, you'll learn a lot more organ systems, especially if you choose to go through a field of medicine. However, those for now are not ones that you have to remember. You do have to remember these, though, at least their function. You don't even have to remember the parts or how that, you just have to know how they work in general. And that's what we'll be going over today. So, firstly, we got the muscular system. And the main point of the muscular system is to allow for the body to move and also to support the structures of the body. There are three different types of muscle. Basically, you can sum it up to voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary muscles are the ones that you can think and then control. Think about like flexing your arm, right? You can flex your arm as long as you think about it. Those are the firing of those muscles. Pretty much a thought process can pass to those muscles, and then it'll enact. It'll move. Uh, and then you have involuntary muscles that move on their own based on signals sent from the nervous system or your brain. Those would be like your heart, uh, which is a cardiac muscle, or your organs, which would be the smooth muscle. Okay. So, three different types of muscle: cardiac, your heart; skeletal, which are your voluntary muscles; and then smooth, which are your organ muscles. Okay. And these three work together in order to allow your body to move and support the function of various structures in your body. Okay. Next up, you have the respiratory system, which essentially is just the lungs and then the various organs that pass up to the upper portions of your body that allow gas to get into your body or exit your body. Um, so the entire purpose of the respiratory system is gas exchange. So bringing in oxygen, getting rid of CO2. And that's basically it. It's just this process of exchanging those two gases, bringing in oxygen so that you can survive, getting rid of CO2 that we produce as waste via cellular respiration. If you guys remember that. Now, the respiratory system works kind of hand in hand with the third organ system, which is the circulatory system. Since the circulatory system's main job is to transport those gases and also other nutrients to muscles and organs via the blood. And the blood will go to the lungs in order to get those gases passed off. So they kind of work hand in hand in this case. The blood goes to the lungs, they'll drop off the CO2 from the different organs and different muscles, and then they'll pick up some oxygen. And then they'll go back in their cycle and go around the body and continue to do this as a way of supplying the muscles and the organs with the oxygen that they need, and also taking away any CO2 that they have so that you can prepare to breathe that out of your body. So it works very well. It's a constant system. Basically, they're holding hands the entire time. And you can kind of see already how these organ systems are interacting. Next up, we have the digestive system, which is entire purpose is to process food and nutrients in the production of different organic materials such as proteins, amino acids, and glucose, which is sugar. So those things will be used in different processes, either to build muscle or cellular respiration. So there you go. And then we have the excretory system, which removes waste from the body. Basically, the processing of water in the kidney, and then the processing of various things until it actually leaves the body through either your anus or through your bladder. So it just removes different things from your blood, from your from the water that you take in, and any nutrients that may be inside of your body that need to be removed, purged, that may be harmful to you. That's the entire purpose of excretory: remove toxins and waste. And finally, you have the nervous system, which will include your brain, your spine, and then all the nerves in your body. And the entire purpose of the nervous system is to basically control everything. So it receives signals from the various muscles in your body and also the various organs. And it also sends signals to those parts as well. So all these signals will be like cables that are attached to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord is attached to the brain. And it's kind of like a never-ending cycle of messages that go out back and forth as the body tries to deal with its daily function. So you got your control system here, with the brain being the main computer. And then you got a bunch of wires that spread out to all the different parts of the body so that it can talk to it. And those are pretty much all the systems. All right. So there you go. If you have any questions about any of the systems, remember to ask. But these systems all work together in order to allow for the organism to survive. Without these systems and the parts that make them up, the organism would just simply not be able to function. As you can see, most of them play a very important role within the body. And so they all kind of have to work together. Later on in this lesson, you'll be learning about some of the details of how these functions or how these systems interact. But for now, that's it. Have a good day. Enjoy your lesson. Bye.